Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Monday, all the way from Chicago. If you are new here or if you have been rocking with me ever since the very beginning, welcome to this next video that we are doing on scope of competence versus the scope of practice. There's a difference, slightly, and we are here to kind of like put some of that in perspective. So let's get started. Now, again, this is your MFT Code of Ethics. Please, I encourage each and every one of you, read your code of ethics. Things will be so much clearer for you. They will make so much more sense for you when it comes to certain questions about how you handle a crisis situation. Even when it comes to competency and when it comes to practice, they will be so much more clearer. And as I'm talking, feel free to read my screen. It's just a repeat. If you have read the Code of Ethics, you know that we have to continue to develop and maintain our competence when it comes to us working with our clients. Education, training, supervised experience, it is a must. Never stop reading. Never stop reading. Seek assistance. It doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing. It doesn't mean that you're stupid. If it's something that you are struggling with and you need more support in, then seek assistance for it. Okay? If anything is impairing your clinical judgment, it's okay. Seek assistance. I do it all the time. I don't have a problem. It doesn't make me feel like I'm less of an MFT. If you just need more support. If you need more support, then you need more support, right? Your scope of competence. This is the specific areas that you are qualified to work in. And that is based on your what? Your training and your education. If you have never been trained in a specific modality, or if you've never been trained in like a specific population or area that's outside your scope of competence, you should not be doing it. It is not defined by laws. It is a personal limit that you know yourself, like, oh, I've never worked with eating disorders before, so you shouldn't be working with clients that have eating disorder unless you have the proper education or training to do so, because then that means that you're going to be doing what? You're going to be doing more harm to that client than you are going to be helping that client, and that's not okay. Personally, you know your limits when it comes to working with clients in therapy. Your scope of practice. This is the slight little altered difference that I was talking about. This is your legal boundaries of what you can do as an MFT. We are not doctors. Please don't be telling the client what medication they need to take. Please don't tell a client they need to stop taking medication. Please don't tell a client they need to decrease the milligrams in their medication. You can't do that. You are not a doctor. You are not an MD. Do not be giving suggestions. Don't be giving advice on medication. Don't give your clients legal advice. You're not a lawyer. You're not a judge. Right? This is what you are legally allowed to do as an MFT, not what you are personally trained or competent to do. Don't be telling somebody that they coming up in there with a toothache and now you telling them, oh, they got a cavity or something. It goes to something as simple as that. You are not a dentist, okay? So don't be doing none of that. Okay, here we go. Scope of competence and scope of practice. And you will see this multiple times because I love charts. Charts make me feel comfortable. Charts make me have a better understanding. Again, scope of practice. This is what you are legally allowed to do. Right? An example. You can work with families, you can work with couples, and you can work with individuals. You can work with siblings, you can work with the aunties, the aunts, uncles, and whoever using a systemic model that you were properly trained in and that you are educated in. But you cannot be doing the surgery. You cannot be telling a client that you're going to give them surgery because it's not going to work. You are not an MD. Your scope of competence, this is what you are trained and experienced in. If you are only trained in CBT, which is one of the It's one of the family therapy models. Like if you know EFT and if you're trained in it, you've got some extra certifications in it or whatever, then that's fine. You can work with those clients. EMDR has to have proper training. I think you need to have proper licenses or certifications before you can do EMDR. Please don't be sitting there trying to do EMDR with trauma clients and all you did is read a paragraph about it. Can't do it. It's not going to work. Okay? Alrighty. Is it ethical? This is another chart. Of course, I like charts. I will post these charts in a group. Do not worry. Is it ethical? Referring a client with complex trauma. Yes. If you've never worked with a client with complex trauma before and you don't have the training or you lack the experience of working with them, then yes, refer them out, because you know why? This makes sure that the client is safe, right? It makes sure that you're putting the client's welfare first, right? This is what I meant when you're working with the new client population: LGBTQ, youth, refugees, immigrants, whatever the case may be. If you've never worked with this client population before, then what do you need to do? You gotta at least be trying to do something that's going to help you better how you're going to help them, as well as how you're going to do no harm with them. This is going to show professional growth as well as your personal growth when it comes to working with them. Is it ethical? Yes, it is ethical, but at the same time, what do you need to do? You got to be making sure that you are getting consultation, or you are like expanding your knowledge when you're working with them, right? Taking CEU classes, always read, continue to want to know more. This is going to expand your scope of competence, right? Declining to perform a child custody evaluation. If you ain't never did it before, you've never had training in it before, then you better decline it. Don't be messing up these people's families, because these kids got to go somewhere. Don't be messing them up, right? Consulting with a multicultural expert when working with clients from the unfamiliar background. This is a must. It's a must, because you can't be sitting up in there thinking you know about this culture and you don't know nothing about it, and your own culture says this and my culture does this. We're not doing none of that. You have to find a way to make it so that you are doing no harm to your client. Okay, alrighty, and here it is. This is what's unethical, and you better pay attention. So here's the thing: this is not just for the exam, this is also for you holding your own license, right? So if you never had training, experience working with eating disorders, schizophrenia, things of that nature, it's unethical if you do not know how to properly treat them. You are risking harm to the client. Like I said, hypnotherapy, EMDR. If you do not have a certification, license, whatever the case may be, please don't be sitting here trying to do it. Oh, I know how to hypnotize. What? We're not doing that. No, you ain't about to be hypnotizing these clients in here. We're not doing that. If you don't have the proper certification or the supervision, no. Supervising MFT's trainees, do you have the qualifications to do so? You have to be qualified to supervise another MFT. I don't care if you got the LMFT. I have my LMFT, and I know for a fact I ain't qualified to supervise nobody else, because I ain't did it yet. I ain't did the training. I ain't did none of that yet, right? Psychological assessments. Okay, here we go. Here it is. Everybody want to slap a diagnosis. I know we have to be learning about these diagnoses, and we just want to be diagnosing people's, but in order to get a diagnosis, you have to have proper assessments that are being done. And if you are not properly trained in it or can interpret one, then you shouldn't be doing it. Advertising your expertise and specialty. You are an LMFT, MFT, AMFT, LAMFT. You are not a CADC. Please don't be sticking them letters behind your name, and because you done took a substance use class, now you think you're a CADC. No, it doesn't work that way. Same thing with the EMDR or a hypnotherapist or whatever. If you do not have the proper training in it and education in it, please do not falsify your credentials. You cannot do that. Okay, here we go. Now, scope of practice. Again, this is what you are legally allowed to do within your boundaries as an MFT. We should not be discriminating against clients. We should not be doing that. We need to make sure that, hey, am I competent enough to work with this client or whatever, or do I feel like my biases or something is getting in the way of that, right? We should only be providing services within our boundaries. We are not doctors. We are not nurses. We are not a dentist. We are not a lawyer. That is outside our scope of practice. That is not within our boundaries. We may be emotionally focused therapists. We may be strategic therapists, but we are not doctors. We are not lawyers, and we are not dentists. Diagnosis and treatment. We have to take reasonable steps in order to obtain training and experience in order to be doing something. like slapping a diagnosis or something. Or if you can do psychological testing or whatever, I'm not sure how you would do that. I don't know the steps that you would have to take, but I think it is possible. If you don't have that training in order to be diagnosing clients, please don't be sitting in there diagnosing your clients. Refer them to what? Refer them to get assessments. Refer them to a psychiatrist that is outside your scope of practice, right? Okay? Competence with colleagues. It's okay. Talk to your colleagues. Consult with your colleagues to make sure that what you're doing is going to be doing no harm, and to make sure that it is safe to be working with the client. Okay? Alrighty. Remember, and I'm doing this as a repeat. It's always going to be repeat, because you know why? There's nothing wrong with being repetitive, right? Education, training, and supervision defines your scope. You must treat clients with issues that is in your level of competence. If it is beyond your level of competence, you need to do what? You need to be either seeking consultation for, or you need to be referring them out. You are ethically bound to refer out or get supervision when working beyond your current expertise. And if it is beyond, then definitely you think about referring them out. Stay current in the developments within your field, within what you specialize in or whatever. You need to stay current, right? CEUs, read a book, to take a class. There's so many YouTube videos that like teaches you certain things or whatever, but look around. Don't stay just the same. You always want to grow. You always want to do more. Now, don't be so caught up in this. I will post the PDF format for this in the group. But yes, this is again what's within your scope and what is outside of your scope, right? Yes, individual, couples, family, you can work with them. Yes, diagnosing mental health disorders. Yes, you can, but you must be trained in it, right? Prescribing medication. Nuh-uh. You're not a doctor. You're not a nurse. None of that. No. Conducting psychotherapy. Yes. Talk therapy, CBD. Your systemic therapies that you went to school for. Absolutely. Crisis interventions, of course, but you got to know what you're doing. Make sure you know what you're doing. Supervising trainees with a certifications, yes and no. If you have training in it and a license or certification, then yes. If not, then the answer is going to be no. Teletherapy, yes and no. Yes, you can do teletherapy. No, if it is outside of your state without a license, then absolutely not. Hypnotherapy, yes and no. Yes, you can if you are trained. No, you cannot if you are not trained. Same with EMDR, play therapy, in any other specialty that you have never used before, yes and no. Substance use counseling, yes you can. If you are trained, no you cannot if you are not trained. Diagnosing medical conditions, absolutely not. You are not a doctor. Because somebody come in and they telling you they got a headache, it does not mean they have brain cancer. Please do not be telling your clients that. Working with children and teens, yes and no. If you have experience with them, then yes. If not, it requires specialized training, and maybe you need to have some supervision, or maybe you need to be continuing some education so that you can work with them the right way. I have been working with kids and teens and adolescents for, I want to say 10 years now. 10 years now. I have the training. I also have the education in this area. So yes, that is within my scope of competence to work with them. Do I have some cases when it comes to kids that are quite difficult? Yes, I do. And you know what I do? I ask for support. I talk to my colleagues. I speak to my supervisor. Alrighty. Again, we're just going to be repetitive. I need to get this to stick with everybody. These are examples of what you are allowed to do and what you are not allowed to do. Serving a couple struggling with communication. Yes, as long as you're using appropriate systemic therapy, by all means, please help that family with communication. They need help, right? You begin diagnosing ADHD using medical testing. Absolutely not. What did I just say? That's outside your scope, and they must be referred. If you are not properly trained in doing psychological testings, which I think I need to look into that, because I'm hearing that we can do that. Yes, but no, we're not slapping a diagnosis on a kid because you just saw him for one session. No, we're not doing that. You offer teletherapy to a family. Great, that's awesome. Is it within your state? Are you ethical to treat them? Are they in your state that you're going to be working with them in for the teletherapy? Okay? You supervise a trainee in EMDR or play therapy without training? Absolutely not. How can you teach someone else how to do EMDR and you don't even know how to properly do EMDR? That's outside your competence. Don't be in here messing up these client lives because your ego is in the way. We're not doing that, okay? Now we got a bunch of red here. Treating a client with schizophrenia without specialized training. There are cases of schizophrenia that are like pretty severe, and if you are not properly trained in it or has never worked with the population before, you can't do it. You need to refer out, right? You may have to refer out. Using EMDR, again, no. If you do not have the certification, license, or whatever comes with it, do not do it, please. Providing therapy in a language you are not fluent in. If you know that family or that client speaks a different language than you, how are you going to properly help them? You need to refer them to someone that is more versed in that culture and also speak their language, because you will be doing them harm, right? Providing therapy to clients in another state that you're not licensed in, no. You can't do that. Offering medical advice, medication suggestions, I've already said that. Don't be telling somebody they got brain cancer because they said they got a headache. You can't do that. Prescribing or adjusting medication, absolutely not. Don't tell somebody they need to be taking Prozac because you taking Prozac. Nuh-uh, we not doing that. Giving legal advice, boy, girl, please don't. Please, for the love of God, don't. It's bad enough with the laws, how it is in the states as it is for an MFT to be trying to give legal advice. I don't care if you watch Law and Order SVU, it ain't gonna cut it. No, don't do it. Performing child custody evaluations. If you're not properly trained, if you've never done it before, you do not have the experience, you need to refer out. Okay? All of this in red is a bunch of no's, but it could be yes and no if you are properly trained to do so. But if you are not properly trained to do so, the answer is going to be no. Okay? Here it is again. At the end with it. Here it is. State laws. If your scope of practice, state laws tells you what you're legally allowed to do. Violating this can result in a loss of your license. We don't want that. Your competence, experience, training, supervision, what you are skilled in enough to do it safely without harming the client. Always, always, always want to know more. Always, always, always expand your knowledge. It is okay just because you have to refer somebody out. It does not mean something is wrong with you. It does not mean that you know less than. It means that you just need more support in it. And if you want to get properly trained, then go back and take some classes. Right? Alrighty, that concludes it. I hope I make perfect sense to everyone. If I do not, feel free to leave a comment, leave me a message. Find me on Facebook. I am around. Today is just Monday. Seems like a little bit light day today, so I am around to be answering some questions if anybody have any. Let me know if you guys are still struggling in the area of competence and the scope of practice, and I will try my best to find clarity for you. Alrighty, everybody have a great and amazing Monday.